What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emilie. Welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to say thank you for all the support and the awesome feedback that I got on my last video. It sort of blew up, not gonna lie. Was not expecting that whatsoever. I was a little bit intimidated when that whole thing happened, just because I wasn't expecting it. So I was like, how do I deal with this? But I'm over it now. It's cool. You guys are awesome. I thought I would share with you guys something that's coming up, something that I'm really excited for. I am upgrading. So I'm upgrading from first officer to captain on the Dash 8 Q400, the aircraft that I'm currently flying. I'm super excited. That's the reason why obviously I've been kind of laying low on this and I haven't been updating or making videos because it takes a crap ton of time and I just didn't have it. But I figured while I was going through this process, while I was going through the upgrade, I could kind of like take you guys through it, just my thoughts, what I'm thinking, how it's going, what the struggles are, the ups and downs that kind of come along with it, and the lack of sleep. But I figured I would take you guys through and I hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go, upgrading from first officer to a captain. If you guys haven't subscribed, why not? If you guys want to kind of support me and kind of keep following along, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Keep in mind what I'm experiencing and the path or the steps that I'm doing are obviously going to be specific to my airline and like the company that I'm working for. Even like the country that you're in will have its own regulations. So I'm describing what I'm going through might be a little bit different. Share with me the differences. So let me know what is different or what is maybe the same that you guys are experiencing. Some of the basic requirements that were necessary for me to be able to upgrade was my ATPL, so getting your airline transport pilot license. So I've had that for a little bit of time now, which is great. For Canada, there's 2 major exams that are involved with getting it, and there's a certain amount of hours that are required. So I already had that out of the way, which was great. For us, there was a certain amount of time or like a matrix requirement that you needed to have as a minimum. For myself, it was the date of hire. So being with the company for 2 years was where I was kind of gonna hit the matrix. Have less time to upgrade had you had more time on a different aircraft or more total time experience. So that could shave some time as well. I'm also going to be having to go through what we call our command course. The command course for us is 5 days, which includes 1 day where you're just in the non-moving sim. The command course just covers, anything from your dispatching to your maintenance controller, your maintenance program, how to fill out a journey log, how to fill out a snag when something happens on the aircraft, interpreting the weather a little bit more and just like knowing the regulations, so like what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, CRM, pilot decision making, brainstorming with your peers, and just being able to work as a team. That's kind of in my mind like the next thing that I've really been focusing on. So I've been studying my butt off for it. So that command course is what is coming up next. After that, it's going to be our simulator. So I'm going to be going to Toronto, 3 days in the sim, and then followed up by your actual PPC itself, where you're signed off as a captain. Then it's going to be the line indoctrination process. So myself flying in the left seat with a training captain who's going to be in the right seat. So on the first officer side, there's also a certain requirement to fly in specific airports. So a little bit more like challenging mountainous approaches and takeoffs. And then lastly will be the line check, where you are signed off, hopefully, as a captain on the line for your company on the aircraft that you're flying. So that'll be the last step. I'm excited to see how I do. I'm excited to just take this as like a new challenge, really, because I've been flying with my company now for 2 years. So it's going to be like a new process, new challenges, flying with different people, which I'm really excited for. Let's see how I do for my command course, and I'll update you guys how I do. I finished everything in terms of the command course, so like the in classroom kind of stuff. So this past weekend, it's been mostly me having panic attacks. Only had 5, just kidding, only 2. Mostly stress eating at this point. My sim is coming up in a couple days, or my sims with an S, I should say, are coming up in a couple days. So going Calgary, Toronto tomorrow, and then gonna be doing 4 sim sessions. So 3 of those are like your prep sessions, and then the last day is going to be the actual PPC itself. To say I'm anxious is an understatement. There's no way around it. Like, that's the thing that I keep just having to face is like, you know, you'll stress eat to try to distract yourself, but it doesn't really go away. So I've been like mostly studying, went out on the weekend just for a friend's birthday. Side note, the bar had dogs and it was fantastic. Pause, I'll touch base soon. Okay, so little video update. I know it's not the greatest light in here, but it's nighttime now in Toronto, back in my hotel. So my partner and I just had our first sim session. We survived it. I don't know, I want to say like 20 exercises per session at least. It's literally like just like a non-stop malfunction like coming on, some sort of fire. We did everything from, you know, projector takeoff, you know, due to a bag of smoke, indication. We had on one of the events, it was like simulating having a bomb going off when we're at like, you know, 25,000 feet. So then having to do rapid depressurization and emergency descent, hydraulic failures. What else did we do? We had like pitch jam, so like the control columns being, you know, jammed, issues with our propeller control system. Oh my God, what else did we do? Just like nonstop. So evacuations, fires, engine failures, doing single engine approaches. So hopefully the next couple of days we just keep working hard and we just keep, you know, nailing it, because today was like pretty good overall. Like some anxiety, of course, and some like silly mistakes, but most of them, you know, there's stuff that we can keep improving on. I'm probably rambling. My brain doesn't work. I've got a headache right now because I've been like this, flying this whole time. So I'm gonna get some rest, take this makeup off, and just like turn my brain off. It is the morning of the ride, but I wasn't able to film anything basically from day 2 and 3. To be perfectly honest, like this is probably, it is like the most challenging thing I've done in terms of like my career with aviation, the amount of like responsibility that we're taking on, and like the amount of like studying I've done. It's been obviously fantastic as an experience. Like I've learned so much, but like it's tough. You know, we're flying in, we're in a different city, we're in a hotel, so had to pack all my clothes. I packed all my food ahead of time because I knew that I wasn't gonna have time to go to like a grocery store or to like spend a lot of time in the restaurant, and helps you kind of obviously eat healthy. Still on first officer salary, still trying to save some pennies there that way too with like meal prepping. My partner and I, we meet, you know, numerous hours before the session, and we just go over the drills. We go over all of our call outs, our SOPs, and like the procedures. We like brainstorm together different malfunctions, what we think we would do, like what would be the best course of action. But we've been essentially meeting between 10:30 and 11 a.m. and then we basically study review until we leave for the simulator, so it's just like a 10-minute ride away. Get a ride there like with the shuttle, and then we go from basically 2 until 7:30, 8 p.m. is when like the full session and the full debrief happens. So it is full on days, like non-stop review, non-stop training. I have session 2 and 3 here. We did like low visibility and reduced visibility takeoffs and landings, tailwind operations, single engine ILS approaches. So obviously like a takeoff, say with a V1 cut where you're losing your engine in and then coming back around to land single engine. Definitely one of the more challenging exercises, as well as the V1 cut. The reason why the single engine ILS is challenging is because you have to hand fly it in. We can't use the autopilot. It's a limitation on this system, so we have to hand fly it in, which is challenging in itself. And now just remember to switch to the left seat. Not only that, but that simulator is just, gonna be honest, pretty garbage in terms of like the feel and like the feedback that you get on it and like the reaction time. It's not very similar to the actual plane. Yeah, you're sweating. You're very much sweating. There's no doubt about it. Dealt with some fire, some pilot incapacitations. We had some electrical malfunctions, engine failures in the climb, in the cruise, and the descent, on takeoff, basically any time that you can think of. Flap failure, so coming in and having to do a flapless landing, and the pitch attitude that you're actually landing is very, very close to where we could possibly get a tail strike. Finessing that and having to land like within a couple degrees of where that could happen is quite challenging. So we had to do that too from the left seat. And yeah, just like prop over speeds, unscheduled feathers, anything engine-wide that you can think of. That was session 2. Session 3, just reviewing a bunch of that stuff, trim runaways, instrument failures, cabin evacuations. Another thing that we did that we haven't really practiced before is like raw data approaches. So where you don't have your flight director. So for us, we obviously use the crosshairs, and we're always kind of like targeting to be right on the crosshairs for any approaches that we're doing, unless it's like a visual approach. We obviously have to practice a scenario where we are now dealing with having a localizer indication and a localizer indication and a glide slope indication, but we have no flight director. So we have to really work on our scan to make sure that we're flying it in the event that, say, we had a flight director failure, but we could still, hand fly the plane, of course. I haven't really practiced those before, so the scan is a little bit different, but made it work. Yesterday, the 3rd session, in my role as pilot monitoring, so of course we switched between my partner and I. So the first session I was pilot flying, which in this case was me in the left seat. And then in the second session I was the pilot monitoring, so I was back in my FO seat. And I was so tired, like my brain was just fading, I could feel it, and I was just like, I could feel myself checking out. I was trying so hard to focus, and I missed one of the calls, and my PF was like, oh, are you gonna make that call? And I'm like, oh, just making it, recognizing the fatigue setting in and just how tired we are. But you have to just stay on top of it so much. And I was actually so surprised. I've never really felt that before, to be that exhausted, to just miss a call midway through. Last night, my partner and I were just like, you know what, we need some food, let's go get food, forgetting that it was Valentine's Day. So we got to the restaurant and so we ended up just going to the mall and to the food court to get some sushi. It was fantastic. But today is the day. It is the day of the ride. Slept okay, obviously, anxious as anybody would be. I'm excited, obviously. We're supposed to be flying back, maybe 2 hours after our ride is over, so could be really tired, but really, excited to go home. It's been a long journey, but it's been so cool. We had a fantastic instructor. He's definitely someone that I was learning a lot from in terms of how to be a good instructor, just how patient he was and how empathetic and caring he was. Because if you have someone who's just making you extra stressed and nervous, it just adds to the extra challenge, and it's just not something that you need. So it was really nice to have that, and the overall whole thing has been a fantastic experience so far. So really hoping today goes well. I've really studied as much as I can. I think I've prepped myself as much as possible. We're getting really good feedback from our instructor, which is amazing. So now it's just a matter of putting it all together and going tonight. Wish me luck. Hopefully it goes okay, and I'll update you guys when I finish. Did it! Okay, so we finally made it home to Calgary. Russell, how do you feel?
So relieved. So relieved.
We passed, we finished.
It was probably the most challenging, actually the most challenging thing I've ever
It's the
done in
hardest thing I've
my
ever done.
life.
100%.
Career, for sure. But we nailed it. So give me a high five. I just pressed record with my nose because it's so cold still. Okay, so I've had like maybe a day off because I got back at like 2 in the morning on Sunday and then had to meal prep and laundry and go to Costco and hit the gym. And so today is first day of line and dock. So Captain Line and Dock, which means I'll be sitting in the left seat for the first time with people on board. And I've got a captain who's a training captain who's going to be sitting to my right. And we're going to go through normal operations, so no emergencies, hopefully. But just normal ops. So let's see how it goes.
Wait, I should probably do an update on day 2 of my first pairing for Captain Line and Dock. So I am absolutely exhausted. So it's now Tuesday, so it's my second day now, and first day was like 5 legs, like hardly any time between the turns. Doesn't take into account the fact that like I'm a noob. I'm gonna be way slower to do like my checklists and my flows than what normally people would be kind of expected to do. So obviously that's going to be something that's going to be like affecting down the line. And of course we're dealing with like de-icing and like icing conditions, so we have to kind of taxi slower, and as well we have to go and get de-ice every time because we're picking up icing or ice on our wings. So what did we even do yesterday? So we did Calgary, Edmonton, Calgary to Saskatoon back to Calgary, and then Calgary to Regina. So that's where we finished. During the cruise portions where we would typically like get our like a bit of like a break when we're just kind of cruising along, my line and dock captain, who's sitting on the right seat, he actually has like an entire list of stuff to go through in terms of like line and dock requirements. So we're like having discussions. So it's a lot of him talking, but it's me trying to like keep my brain turned on to like absorb that info. So it's a lot. I'm still exhausted, so I'm still like trying to catch up to some sleep tonight because it's been basically a week of just like crappy sleep and like just nerves are through the roof, and now doing this. I think overall it's going pretty well, and I'm like happy in terms of like the plane flying itself. Like switching to the left seat, there's like a little bit of differences, but I think I'm like picking it up. But it's more of like constantly having like my brain thinking ahead of like the next checklist I'm going to call for, the flows now that are different that I have to do. So it's just more exhausting than what you would typically have on like a normal 5-leg day. So today we only had 4 legs, which was obviously an improvement. 2 more days to go, so it's a 4-day pairing, and thankfully tomorrow there's only 2 legs, so hopefully I'll be able to just cruise in and like settle into the left seat a little bit more and then keep getting comfortable. Taxiing's the most fun. It's cool just to like kind of like rip around and like with using like the tiller, so that's a new experience. And yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. What's up, my dudes? So, I did it. I passed my line check. I'm so stoked. It was awesome. It was a really, really good learning experience. We did Grand Prairie and back. I had the awesome experience or the opportunity to go up with an instructor or a line check captain who was he himself getting checked out to be a line check captain. So it was actually myself in the left seat, obviously doing my duties and getting checked out as a captain for, on the line. And then he was sitting beside me on the right, in the FO seat, but he was also getting checked out by an ACP, basically a check captain who was checking him out so that he could do line checks. It was like an inception of line checks. I hope that kind of made sense. But anyways, I'm getting ready. I had my day off in between, which is a whirlwind. It was like one day off in like 12 that I've been working because I did all of my, last line and dock flights, the triple Kelowna layover, then the line check, and then the day off, and then now going into a 2-day pairing, going to Thunder Bay. A little bit brutal, but I'm just kind of like running on adrenaline at this point. I'm just excited to kind of get it going and have my first experience as or my first pairing as a captain. Now looking forward to the challenge of flying for the next 2 days, and then I don't have a day off. It's like I sleep at home, and then I'm going for another 2-day pairing, and then I have finally a couple of days off, so I can like probably digest a little bit what just happened. But yeah, I gotta get going. That's the update, and yeah, we'll see how I feel in a couple more days of doing this. So yeah, see you guys soon. What's up, guys? So, hope everybody's doing well. Just got back from one of my pairings. I don't really know how to preface this, but it's a very weird time. COVID-19 has affected thousands of people. By the time I probably post this, it's probably going to be in the millions, to be honest, with the rate that it's going. Most of us in the airlines, most of my friends, or numerous of my friends at this point, have been laid off, either temporarily or permanently. I don't know. It's been really weird navigating this environment and having to lead my crew, being a brand new captain, still learning what I'm supposed to be doing or how to be or step into my role as a leader, having to deal with that new challenge, but then also interacting with this virus around the world. At the beginning of all of our pairings, we brief with the crew. So I brief with the first officer and both of our flight attendants, and it's been weird. It's been weird just having these discussions of like, hey, how is this affecting you? Hey, are you mentally or emotionally okay to be here right now? Because it's a lot of stress. All of a sudden, we're hearing about layoffs, we're hearing about our airline downsizing. We have so many unknowns coming up. It's pretty daunting. The upgrade itself has been an amazing experience. I've been enjoying it. I've had a couple pairings under my belt now, so that's been awesome. It's been really cool to start building, more confidence and get more comfortable in my seat and in my role. So that's been amazing. Parts so far have just been like setting the tone for the pairings. I love having fun. I love being goofy. I love laughing. So it's been really cool to interact with my first officers and my flight attendants and just have fun with it and try to make the best of, the scenario that's happening, because it's very possible I won't get a chance to do this for numerous months. So I just want to make the best of it. I just want to, go out with it with a bang and just enjoy it. And like I said, savor every time I get to fly. There's lots of unknowns. To be honest, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very, very likely that I'm going to be laid off. And it's something that is hard to come to terms with. It's been an amazing achievement. I'm super, super grateful that I got a chance to even do this before potentially getting laid off or downsized or whatever the hell is going to happen. But super, super grateful that I got a chance to do this. It's just this weird emotional roller coaster of like achieving this, passing my line check, becoming a captain, and then all of a sudden, almost a month later, very likely being not stripped, because obviously I achieved it, but it's just all of a sudden possibly being an FO again, depending on how they downside our company or even just laid off. So it's like you achieve this, it's like this peak, 10 years in the making, and then all of a sudden this like crazy crash. But again, like I said, just focusing on, enjoying it and savoring it before I have to kind of put these guys away. I want to try to keep positive. There's obviously ups and downs. There's days where I'm like super, super upset. There's days where I feel good and I feel hopeful for the future. A lot of you guys will probably be in the same boat. I know some of you guys are doing your training right now and it's probably being stopped. I know some of you guys are also in working at the airlines and, possibly laid off. So like, my heart goes out to everybody that is affected by this. It's all of us. We're in this together. Just have to focus on that aspect and the fact that when this all blows over, we're going to be able to come back stronger, and we're not going to let this define us, turn us negative, and we're just going to be able to somehow turn this around and make it an experience. There's so many of us who will experience this at some point in their career. I haven't experienced it myself. This is the first time that I'm truly affected by a crazy downturn in the economy or a crazy downturn in the industry. So it is a first time for many of us going through this. Maybe this will happen again in 2 years. Maybe it won't happen again for another 20. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But at least we have, social media, and we have one another to kind of keep connecting and supporting. So please reach out if you guys are having a hard time. Please reach out to your mentors or to your significant other, to your parents or whoever it might be, but just reach out and make sure that you have that support system, because it's going to be some rough times and we have to look out for one another and make sure that we come out of this okay. I don't really know how to end this, you guys. I'm just like super grateful that you guys kind of followed along with this. It's been a really interesting journey. It's been a cool adventure, and like I said, really grateful that I got a chance to do it. And I guess we'll just see. I guess just gotta take it like one day at a time. Thanks so much for following, you guys. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you guys are also being affected by COVID-19 and what's been happening with you guys or your industry. I'm rambling. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.